go. Pat McAfee on the podcast. I don't know how you made time, but I appreciate it. You're the busiest dude I know.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to chit-chat with maybe the coolest motherfucker going, Jay Cutler. I mean, I woke up a little bit earlier today. I got a little colder coffee, smoked some vitamins. I'm pumped and thankful for the opportunity. How are you doing, man? Life good?
Life is good. Life is good. It's hot as hell in Nashville. Other than that, things are well.
It's 200 degrees here in Indianapolis as well. Nashville, though, what a place.
Oh, it's on fire. It's there's so many people here, so much new stuff happening. It's, because I've been here really since 2000. So I've kind of seen everything from the flood downtown to the rebuild, and now there's so many people here.
Well, you were the king of Vandy there for a bit too, right? I mean, that was the big thing we all heard.
It didn't take much to be the king of Vandy at that point.
Well, if you're slinging the rock 80 yards, I mean, that's an easy way. But Nashville, I might find myself there at some point in my life. Every time I go there, I fucking love it.
Everybody. I hear more names moving here every other day. Like there's people. I think A-Rod's he's bought a lot or something here, hadn't he?
Yeah, he got some raw land. He was going to the Titans whenever he purchased that, I guess. But that's because all the famous people are moving there, so he heard about it. Do you think it's going to get ruined? Is that something that's going to happen? Like all these cities have these big booms, and then they get ruined.
It's close. I think if it stays down this path for the next couple of years, it's going to be it's already a different town. But I think there's places outside of it that are still kind of the same. But everyone's just moving south.
Yeah. And also tax stuff.
Taxes, yeah. But I think it's improved for the better because, from 2000 to probably 2015, there's only a handful of restaurants, there's only a handful of hotels, and now, you kind of got everything in one spot downtown where if you want to get the hell away from it, you can get away from it. But if you want to get in the mix, it's a big mix now.
How have you not dabbled into country music? There's no Jay Cutler song out there or anything? Nobody has approached you like, hey, will you just give like a super cool sound on this so we can say Jay Cutler's on a song?
I have zero music ability in me at all. Like none. My oldest son plays the guitar and it's like he's a natural. I'm like, you sure as hell didn't get that from me.
And my fingers can't do the stuff that they could do. And also, I think you got to build up calluses on your fingertips. It's like I get day one, I play hot cross buns or whatever the fuck it is. And then day two, I just can't get into it. I'm in the same place you are. Zero musical talent. But I'm pumped to be here. Jay, you loving this podcast life or what?
I tell you what, I didn't want to do it to start. And they were on me for a couple, 3-4 months. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that shit. And then once I kind of got into it, it's fun. Like yesterday, 2 days ago, I did, who was it? Dave Asprey from Bulletproof Coffee. And now he's starting his own coffee line, Danger Coffee. And we talked for like an hour and 15 minutes. And I learned more. Like I was taking notes. Like it was like I was in class again. I'm just taking notes from this guy, like all this stuff. He says he wants to live to 180.
That's a long time. I guess coffee can do that, though. Coffee's helping people live forever. I just made the switch to coffee. I was a green tea guy, read that coffee can make you live longer, started diving in. This guy says fucking 180 years old. I'm on the right path. We all are.
Why'd you make where'd you read that? Did coffee make you live longer? That's not true. Where'd you read that?
Yeah. The internet, dude. It's real.
No, if it's on the internet, it's 100% real. What kind of coffee? What's your coffee go to in the morning?
I'm not sure. This one's the biggest iced one. It's iced coffee, no classic stuff. Give me a couple Splendas in there. I need a little sweetness, but I don't need the carbs right now. I'm on keto. And then a little splash of almond milk in here. Okay. And I'll tell you what, I thought all coffee tasted like shit. This is pretty good. Pretty delicious.
I'm a almond milk guy too. Give me some couple espresso shots, little almond milk, and I'm doing monk fruit sweetener. Check out that.
What is that? Is that a zero carb thing?
Oh yeah.
Because I got to lose like 30, 40 pounds here in like a month or so. Mugfort sweetener. All right, I'm writing notes. Look at this. I'm like you. Exactly. I'm writing notes.
Wait, why do we have to lose 30 or 40 pounds?
I'm just getting fat, Jay. Like, hey, this is something that has happened to me. If I was an offensive lineman, I'd be the 500-pounder after retirement as opposed to the 180-pounder.
It always goes like that. Yeah, it always goes like that. Those guys they literally eat tuna for a year and a half and lose 100 pounds,
Yeah.
or they just go to the moon.
Boom. And running backs, too. Running backs take a nice trip to the
Yeah.
moon normally because they get comfortable, but I'm the same way. So I played soccer my entire life,
Yeah.
and I was always big in soccer. Like my knees have been punished because of my weight for soccer and everything, but I enjoy eating. Off seasons, I go from like 270 back down to 230, up to like 265 during the season if I'm having a good Thanksgiving, down to like 240. So I've always been a bouncer, but right now I'm like 260. Probably need to get down a little bit so my knees don't keep screaming at me all summer.
It's hard though. I mean, you work so damn much.
I love eating though. Like I'm from Pittsburgh, which is
You grew up in Pittsburgh, right? You have any brothers and sisters?
Older brother. He has a better, he has like a skinnier build than me. You know, he can eat a lot more. I am built like a spark plug. So as soon as I eat stuff, it just, my entire body grows like a Michelin man. And I love eating though, Jay. I fucking enjoy food.
Oh, I love food too. Like, I could easily weigh 300 pounds. Easy.
What do? You super diet, super workout guy?
Yeah, you know, since being done, like I dabbled, like I worked out again. I worked out for like a couple, you know, a year after I was done, and then like I was like, you know what, like this is stupid. What am I doing? So, I every once in a while I'll feel bad, and I'm like, all right, let's get back in the gym for a week or so, and I'll kind of get back in, and like, you know what, this is dumb. Like, who am I trying to impress? So like I've just went like more diet than anything. So, you know, and it sucks because like I'm on the whole intermittent fasting thing. I love food. I love food. So it's just like, you know, I just don't eat. Like I won't eat today until probably like dinner. I mean, I'll drink coffee.
What are your hours? How many hours on? How many hours off?
Well, you know, so after talking to Dave yesterday, he's told me, he was like, don't eat when the sun goes down. And I'm like, shit, like, I was like, that's my favorite time to eat.
Yeah.
I love
I was doing the intermittent fasting.
Yeah, like I love a 10 o'clock snack. Like that's my favorite meal of the day. But you know, I'll eat at 6, 7, and then you know I won't eat again until the next day, like 24 hours. But then,
see, I think that's smart. I think that's a smart diet.
Well, I mean, if you're not working out and I'm not burning up a lot of calories with cardio, like I've got to figure out something else. So.
When you were playing, were you a big cardio guy? You ran a bunch? Was that your thing? Are you super duper workout guy?
I worked out, you know, I played quarterback. You didn't have to be cardiovascular shape. Like you take 5 steps, take 5, 7 steps, throw the ball, you know, occasionally you might have to scramble and you breathe hard for the next play. But other than that, you're just out there
you were one of the best scamperers in the history, I think. Like a good scamper from Jay Cutler. You know what I mean? Like I feel like, yeah, you were the athlete out there. You're underselling yourself. I think that's why you were able to just get away with it without doing any cardio. I think that's why, because you're a fucking freak athlete, dude. Baseball player? Were you a baseball player too growing up?
Baseball and basketball. Yeah, I probably played more baseball than I played any sport because I played Legion ball in the summer, and we were playing 6 games a week for like 3 months, traveling all over. I quit pitching my freshman year because baseball, like it was just one of those things. Like I don't know how I threw it. It just destroyed my elbow. Like I remember being at practice, like almost crying because my elbow hurt so bad. And so,
I'm 12 years old. Why is this happening? Why is my arm hurt?
I was like, this is brutal. So I was like, hell with this. And I could throw a football, you know, all day long and it wouldn't hurt at all. So I guess it's just the mechanics of throwing a baseball.
How about the bat? You just had a sick jumper in basketball. You still got it or no?
No, I tell you what, I was more like a slasher.
Oh, really?
To the hoop, yeah.
Scamper.
And I was playing in like kind of an old man's league here for last 3. I haven't played since I started kind of working again, but I played 3 mornings and 3 days a week in the mornings, like at 6 a.m. Big group of guys. It was fun.
That's incredible cardio there. I need some of that.
Yeah, that's probably what has kept me in shape, you know, the last 2 or 3 years. And then we were playing 3-on-3 in the summer, and it was 100 degrees out, and that was tough too.
Were they just fouling the shit out of you because you're Jay Cutler?
No, good group of guys. So good group of guys. I mean, you know, I was bigger than a lot of them. So if you're gonna foul me and hit me, get ready.
Yeah, there's one coming back. There's some receipts on the way out of here. I'll go play it like LA Fitness or something, and everybody puts their full Gary Payton glove
Oh yeah,
like,
on
all right,
you. Yeah, here he comes.
punter's not going to score on me. Yeah, and then I
Yeah.
get fouled. I mean, it's a full thing. Good group is a good thing to have.
Good group is a good thing to have. Grew up in PA.
Yeah, buddy.
Kicker and punter. Soccer.
Yeah.
You play anything else?
Volleyball.
Oh, you played. How did you guys have a volleyball team in Pennsylvania? I don't understand that.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet. It was cool. Like I only played my senior year. I played like a couple weeks my freshman year, and then my senior year. Soccer was year round, so I was supposed to play soccer. Like I had like, this is no lie, like 10x the amount of people looking at me for soccer schools than I did for football. But I didn't, I didn't love running, so that's like one part. I didn't love the running part of it, but I was pretty good.
What were you in soccer?
So it depends what level. Like high school, I played like striker.
Yeah.
Then I played like middle back for ODB.
Mm-hmm.
I played overseas a few times. I mean, I had my resume in soccer pretty solid. Pretty solid. I played goalie one couple games. Good athleticism there, diving around, stopping the rock. But I got too bored. But I played volleyball my senior year, and our high school had a volleyball team. And the coach was like, cool dude. We all liked the coach. Mm-hmm. And all my soccer friends were playing. And at that point, I'd already signed to West Virginia. So I wasn't going to play soccer in the spring there. So I played volleyball. Favorite sport I played in high school. Favorite. Really? Loved it. Had school fucking me for that as well. Fucking loved it. Probably my favorite sport I played.
What position in volleyball were you?
I was an outside hitter, and then I had hands too. I could set. But in college, they were looking for me to be libero. And I didn't want to just eat balls. You know what I mean? That's just.
Is libero, is that just in the back? You're just digging them out?
Yeah, you're just getting spiked and pounded on. I talked to one coach from some college came and talked to me, and I knew nothing about the volleyball world, nothing at all. I just played because my friends played. Sure. We used to fill up the gym at my high school. We'd fill up the gym, like people come watch us. Yeah, we had a good time, entertaining team. We talked shit. I mean, it was a blast. Yeah. So we actually had a college come, and I chit chatted with them. And they're like, oh, have you ever thought about volleyball in your future or whatever? And I'm like, literally never in my life have I ever thought about volleyball in my future. And they said, well, with your size, you'd play libero. And at that point, we didn't have libero in high school. So I had to ask them what it was. And they're like, you'll be in the back row. You wear a different jersey. I'm like, no, I'm a hitter. I can jump too. Like I'm out there. They're like, nope. We got guys who are like 6'8" from Slovakia that are, they can jump too, by the way. I was like, oh, I ain't fucking playing this game. But that was probably the most fun I had playing any sport. But yeah, that's basically all I did was sports all year round, soccer all year round in Pittsburgh.
Did they make whenever you were on the football team? Like, did they make? Was it like NFL? Like basically, where like you guys just go and do your own thing, or are you like in the mix, hitting and doing?
I wouldn't show up till Fridays, Jay.
Perfect. I knew something.
I literally walked in with the crowd some games. Like I had my pads on. I'd walk in with the crowd because I'd just come from either a soccer game or a soccer practice. And I would just show up. My dad and I would go kick at the high school like 8:30, 9 at night, away from everybody whenever I had time, away from – because I was playing on like 3 soccer teams at the time, all through fall and the football team. So I would just show up on Fridays and go kick the ball, country mile, come out. I had no idea where it was going, why it was going. But everybody seemed to be impressed with how far I could kick it. So it was a good time for me.
Did you like punting or kicking more?
So I liked kicking a lot more because you can like affect the game in a much bigger way. Yeah. Like for instance, when I just became a punter in the NFL. I was both kicker and punter in college. Yeah. But we did the rugby punt. So when I was kicking. Yeah, we did the rugby punt. So I had no idea how to actually do the NFL thing. I was just running and trying to roll it as far as possible. Yeah. So in college, I felt like every series was basically going to end with me. Yep. Right at some point, unless there was a turnover, which we didn't have a lot of. And then I got to the NFL, and we'd be down like 20, and I'm the punter in the second half. Like I ain't doing shit for that entire second. Like we are not. You know what I mean? It's completely out of my hand. No, I didn't. It was an interesting thing, but I enjoyed kicking more. But punting obviously became my bread and butter, and I'm very thankful for it.
I would always be fascinated because I was like, the punter's probably like no one. You can really mess up as a punter. I mean, you can shake the shit out of one. It goes 5 yards, and everyone's just like, boo, and it's like, all right, who cares? It's the punter. Like we're just gonna move on with the game. Whereas like like a field goal kicker, like you miss a game winner, it's like your life's over.
Everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
Everybody knows. Yeah, if a punter is the only position that home games,
Yep.
I'm getting booed going onto the field.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Away games, I'm coming on the field to standing ovation. You know, like everybody's. It's quite a. It's an other team friendly position. But to your point, though, like fans have no idea. If I hit a 10-yard punt, defense has to come on the field. Hey, defense, fucking figure it out.
Yep.
But in the locker room, you know, the defense is certainly blaming me for. You know, so it's an interesting game of outside pressure and then inside letting down everybody.
Oh,
so
exactly.
it's a fascinating thing, the whole punt world.
Is this true? Is this story true about the Miami trip and you borrowing $100?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's dope, right?
That's unbelievable. So as a senior, you took $100 from a friend, played poker at an illegal club. How did you find this illegal club, first of all?
So that was when the World Series of Poker was happening. You remember that? Like Chris Moneymaker won and everybody.
It was the hottest thing going.
Over everything. Yes, took over everything, Jay.
Yep.
And I think I come from a working class community, and whenever we saw Moneymaker win like $7 or $8 million playing poker, I think every high school kid and every kid in every town like ours was like, "Oh, all right,
I can play poker."
Yeah, this is gonna be my way out. So my school, a lot of Italians. I mean, so many Italians where I grew up from. So there was games in like guys' garages and kitchens when their family was out of town, like almost every night of the week where I came from. 25, 50 cents, Annie Blinds, whatever, small game. You'd go in there, try to win like $4, $5, $10, whatever you could do. And I was pretty good. I always got good cards. So I was like somebody that I think I recognized, like, hey, I get fucking good cards. So I was doing pretty well in a lot of these games. And there was a game in a restaurant that was in town that I had heard about, and a lot of our friends' dads went and played in. And it was a little bit bigger blinds, a little bit bigger pots. And I got invited to go down to this kicking camp in Miami. Like, it was 1 month before signing day. So at that point, Kent State was really my only offer. If I wanted to go into kicking, it was going to be Kent State, or I was going to continue the soccer route. Like, I had to figure out what I was going to do. I get a call in the middle of my chemistry class. I think we were learning about significant figures at the time. It was a phone call from Miami on my phone. Mr. Jasper's my teacher. Cool dude. Only teacher I got along with, probably. Literally the only teacher I probably got along with at the time. I asked him if I can answer this phone call from Miami. I had no idea what it was. I answered. It was a kicking coach named Mike McCabe. He was having a kicking camp, and he wanted his guys in Florida that he had trained to compete against guys from other states that had college offers. So he said, the camp is like a week and a half next weekend. We'll send you all the information. I was like pumped. I'm like, all right, here we go, because I'd never kicked against people from other places. You know, anytime I showed up on a field, kick a soccer ball, it was kicking it faster than everybody else. Kick a football, kicking it further than everybody else in my area. So I was pumped to go to this camp. They sent over the information. Hotel, flight, and camp would have been like $1,500. So my parents weren't about it. Like, hey, that's not like
not happening.
That's not a thing that's happening. So
get lost, bud.
Borrowed $100. Yeah, exactly. Borrowed $100 from one of my dudes. Go into this game, and I got a full house, jacks full of nines early, and just had to hang on. And I had like $1,750 at one point. Just got blinded down to like $1,400. Got out of there like 4:30 a.m. ish. Went back to my house. Basically gave my old man, as he was getting up to go to work, the $1,400. Said, I need $100. Let's go to this thing. Win the camp. I kick a 65-yard field goal, miss a 70-yard field goal. Had an offer from West Virginia the next morning.
That is incredible.
Lucky as fuck. I don't get that hand. Awesome. I don't get a wind gust that keeps the 65-yard field goal in the upright and pushes it instead of pushing it out of. Probably not. But that is why I think I take next to nothing serious, because of how, like, the events in my life have just been so fucking lucky and fortunate. And I got very fortunate in that particular case, and it went, man. It fucking was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, but you took the initiative. I mean, you were going to try to figure out a way to get down to Miami.
Yeah, I think you're 1,000%.
Yeah, I mean, you're.
I wanted to see what they could do, Jay.
Yeah,
I wanted to see what they could do.
If you don't get that hand, you figure out something else. Like, something was going to happen. Like, you were going to make it happen to figure it out. And I mean, did anyone even else attempt a 65-yard field goal down there?
No. So you had to make.
You had to keep going back every 5 yards.
Yeah, Yeah, you had to make from 50.
Yeah.
Then you had to make from 55. Then you had to make from 60. Then I made from there, and then I missed from 70. I could have kept going. So you had to make to go back.
Yeah.
But I had to leave.
Yeah.
I had to leave immediately after. I went first.
Uh-huh.
This was a competition on Sunday. It was like
Yeah.
the big. I had to leave immediately afterwards because I'm the one that booked my flight, and it was terrible. I had like a 6-hour layover in like Charlotte, so I couldn't even stay till the end. So I didn't even know if I won.
Yeah.
I get home that night. I get home Sunday night, and my mom and dad are like, "How'd it go?" I'm like, "I think pretty good." Did you win? I'm like, I have no idea. I had to get out of there. Then, no clue. I had no clue. The next morning, though, Tony Gibson for West Virginia now he's at NC State. He literally came walking into my cafeteria with the trophy that I had won and made me an offer. And I was like, oh, I fucking won. Okay, here we go. Great news. Yeah, so my life's dumb, Jay. My life is very, very dumb, Jay.
Oh, I mean, that's pretty. I mean, there's so many people that are successful. I mean, you gotta have some luck. You've got to have some things go your way. That's just kind of how it goes.
I guess, but
maybe not. What do I know?
I think I haven't talked to many successful people as I probably should have to do full research on this. I think what you're saying is accurate, but there's just, if that night goes a different way, how's this whole thing paying out? Who knows? Can't think about it. Just keep moving forward. That's kind of how I do.
Yeah. Worked out. Did you like West Virginia?
I had a good time down there, man.
I bet it's a lot of fun.
So I just saw a ranking, and this is obviously not something that all graduates are proud of, and I'm not a graduate. I went there. I did not graduate. Me, Steve Jobs, Kanye West, college dropouts. But they ranked all the Power 5 schools academically,
Yeah.
West Virginia was the 65 out of 65 or 66 out of 66, depending upon how many it was.
I mean,
okay, so the academia not very high there. It's almost like South Harmon Institute of Technology. Whenever I was going there, I don't know what it is now, but I had a great time down there. Got out some loans, obviously, because I was on full scholarship. So got out some loans because if everybody else is going to be in debt, I'll be in debt. Had a good time with those. Rode coattails to big games. I mean, I had a blast down there. I should have focused more. But I had an absolute blast.
I mean, that's kind of on brand for that state, though, right?
State has a good time, yeah. State has a good time. West Virginia has a very good time. Now, West Virginia University, the Harvard of West Virginia, so there needs to be a little bit of respect in there for the people in Morgantown. But yeah, West Virginia is a good time. I had a blast at that place.
I had to take out some loans too. I mean, they only gave us like $90 a week or something. If you're living on campus, and it was like, you can't survive. I remember when I got there, I had $200, and at Vandy, like these kids are doing it. There's girls with like black cards and private planes every weekend, and I had $200. So I was like, this isn't gonna work. I gotta get some more money somehow. But it was fun.
Hey,
I had a blast.
Could you imagine being in college and having a black card and a private plane? I'd be the most insufferable douchebag of all time if I had that as a kid growing up. I don't know how people do
Brutal. I'd be brutal.
Brutal. How could you be serious? How could you not be?
I mean, I would never go to class. I would never do anything. I would just hang out.
I would be the biggest piece of shit of all time if I had the capability to fly private. We've flown private now as adults. You and I both have.
Yes.
Is that not the best thing to ever happen in the history of anything?
It will spoil you so bad that it's not even funny. And now my kids have flown private. You're talking about a 9, 8, and 6-year-olds that have flown private. And if we're gonna go somewhere, they're like, "Are we going on a private plane or are we going with regular people?" And like, we're going regular. We're going to the regular airport, and they're like, "Oh my gosh!
Oh my god! I gotta breathe the same air as those people."
And I'm like,
"This is exactly what we're talking about, though. Your kids are exactly who we're talking about.
Yeah.
I have no idea how they're gonna remain normal, though. They got no shot with that type of thing.
I gotta do everything possible to make sure that they're not complete assholes.
Put them out on that farm you got. You know what I
mean? I make them do stuff like they've kind of gotten wise. Like, hey, I'm like, go weed the garden. They're like, all right, but like, I need some allowance or something. I'm like, all right, $5, everything. And they're like, done, do it.
They're negotiating. These people are flying private planes and negotiating with you. I love these kids. These kids are going to be presidents probably.
I mean, they're not even double digits yet. So I don't know. It's I was talking to a buddy a couple days ago, and I grew up like you. Like, we didn't have that type of money. Like, I had to get jobs in the summer to pay for my car insurance, or I wasn't allowed to drive. So I was raised a certain way. You were raised a certain way, and now, I mean, health. Where's it at? I mean, you just got a $120 million deal. You're screwed. Your kids are screwed.
I know, yeah. I think about that often. I haven't had a kid yet, but I think about it a lot. Like, how's this little piece of shit not going to become a piece of shit when he's going to have everything afforded to him that I used to judge kids for having mightily, you know?
Oh, yeah. And I've found, like, you can't...
120 alleged, by the way. Could be more, could be less.
So it's probably more.
Maybe.
I've found, like, you can't really rationalize with a 9-year-old or an 8-year-old. Like, they don't give it. They don't care what you say. Like, you can't be like, hey, you know, we had to work really hard for this. You're gonna have to work hard. You know, this isn't just given to you. This isn't normal. And they're like, get out of my face. Let's get on the plane.
Are we flying private or not, Dad? Shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
I mean,
that's kind of how
that is awesome. Can't blame them though. Can't blame them. You know, that's what I kind of get.
It's my fault. But I think as they get older, 12, 15, 16, like you can start talking to them. Like, you know, they have to get some jobs or do something. Like, this isn't just hand-me-outs. And the guy from FedEx, Fred Smith?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, like, he's not giving his kids much of anything. And he's worth...
Is that Smith, Artie's dad?
Yes. I mean, he's
former Marine. He's former Marine.
Yeah.
He's Marine. And then he also had that trip where he went to Vegas and he basically put everything the company had left in like a blackjack game or something. Hit was able to make it. Yeah. So he flew out. Yeah. So he had like a full gambling moment with FedEx a long time ago. Hit was able to do something. I don't know if it was gas or some sort of something. And then his company won after that. So that dude is a fucking awesome success story. And his son now, obviously head coach of the Falcons, I think he has chatted about how his dad, my dad's a Marine still, you know, like he's still a Marine, or that's the way to go.
And I've heard that he doesn't, you know, I don't know like the specifics, but like he's been pretty tight with the kids about giving them stuff. And whenever he dies, you know, there's a limited amount of stuff. I could have made that up. That might not be true, but that's what I've heard.
No, I feel like we had Artie on the show, and he basically alluded to that type of thing. Now, what does that mean though? Like, if you're worth $5 billion and I'm only going to give $50 million or something, you know, like, you know, like what is the actuality of that?
Yeah. I mean, it's probably not zero. I would hope not anyway. That would be pretty sick. I mean, or it's the ultimate dick move of all dick moves. Sorry, kids, I'm worth, you know, whatever billion, you get none. See you later.
Yeah, but think about the legacy, you know, like imagine if the kids weren't liked by the public. Now, Artie, I think, is liked by everybody. But if the entire kids were not liked by the public, and this was a very public thing, the dad going into heaven or hell, billionaire, chance could be either, but goes in there and one last baby face move. Like he or she also opted to give $0 to their children that we all hate. And it's like, yeah, all right, donated it all. Way to go. We appreciate it.
He just bought his way into heaven at that point.
I think so. I think that would be the right move.
So, you know, I'm an outsider, so much that I started a company called Outsider. If you spend as much time outdoors as I do, you know that you need the right kind of energy and nutritional supplements to keep you going, which is why I love our friends at Mountain Ops. They brought us this bonus episode with hunter and adventurer Cam Haynes, and you absolutely need to check out everything they offer. Find them online at mtnops.com and check out how they are inspiring individuals and families achieve their ultimate level of performance through the highest quality energy and nutritional products. You might have heard one of their most popular products, Ignite. It delivers smooth, long-lasting, great-tasting energy and focus for hours. Or maybe you just need a good night's sleep, and Mountain Ops has you covered there as well. Mountain Ops Slumber helps your body rest deeply and recover quickly. Hibernate, their deep sleep formula, uses local trace minerals from the Great Salt Lake coupled with natural extracts to cultivate a deep, calming slumber. So if you're an outsider, check out our friends at Mountain Ops. Find their entire line of outdoor performance supplements online at mtnops.com. mtops.com. Use the code UNCUT at checkout to receive 30% off their products. That's code UNCUT at mtnops.com. How many free trial subscriptions end up costing you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars after you just forgot to cancel? Fight back against scammy subscriptions with Truebill. And you don't even have to talk to anyone. Let Truebill do the work and set you free. Average users save $720 a year using Truebill. Truebill is a new app that helps you identify and stop paying for subscriptions you don't need, want, or simply forget about. Because companies make subscriptions hard to cancel, Truebill makes it incredibly simple. Just link your accounts and Truebill will cancel your unwanted subscriptions in one tap. And your Truebill concierge is there when you need them to cancel unwanted subscriptions, so you don't have to. It's really an amazing and simple service. Truebill has over 2 million users and has helped save them over $100 million. Like Matthew B., who says, in a matter of seconds, I saved $660 for the year on my DirecTV bill, saved $120 for the year on my Sirius XM bill, and saved $840 a year on car insurance. So don't fall for subscription scams. Start canceling today at Truebill.com/uncut. Go right now, Truebill.com/uncut. It could save you thousands a year. Truebill.com/uncut. Did you go to the combine then after?
No.
Really?
Yeah, and they do invite punters and kickers. I have to tell people that,
Yeah.
because although as of late, there's kickers and punters now in the combine, and I know you knew that, but
Yeah.
people that are listening, they invited like 30, I think, kickers and punters my senior year. I played in the Senior Bowl. I was a kicker in the Senior Bowl, wasn't invited to the combine or whatever. So my
How
pro
is
day
that? How is that possible?
I don't know, man. I had a couple brews in college, I had a couple misses in college, couple makes that weren't talked about. I had a big leg.
Yeah.
I don't know. And honestly, West Virginia, that was when Pat, Steve, Owen, Darius Renaud, we had like a big time crew.
Yeah.
So I think I might have just, kind of snuck through the radar, or, I think it helped me in the end. Built up quite a bigger chip on my shoulder,
Sure.
Like I think I got more pissed off about stuff. But it would have been nice to be able to work out for all the teams. That would have been great. But
so
who knows?
I guess there's probably a lot of people at your pro day though, huh? Just because those other guys.
So
were there?
Mike Tomlin put me through my workout, my pro day. So like I'm very, very thankful for Mike Tomlin. Yeah. So he and I have, because I'm from Pittsburgh, I've met him in the past. And his first coaching job was with one of my college coaches, Bill Stewart. So he had known about me for a long time. I'm not 100% sure if everybody would have watched my workout, because they were working out up in the indoor, which is like up on a hill. And then I was out on the outdoor down here.
Yeah.
I think if it wasn't for Tomlin, not as many people would have came. The Colts, though, were very interested like immediately. So that felt like a potential opportunity from jump. But yeah, Tomlin put me through the workout. All the teams were there to see Pat. And that was a big day, man. We had quite a celebration afterwards when and things went well that day. Things went very well that day.
I mean, were you just dropping bombs?
Yeah, I think same thing as like that high school thing. I think I went from like 65, 66 or something like that. And then I hit some punts because the Colts asked me to punt. Patriots asked me to punt, and they were terrible. But I didn't think I was going to get into punting. I thought I was going to be a kicker. I was at the Senior Bowl for kicking. I'm like the all-time leading scorer at West Virginia. I'm kicking the ball 60-some yards farther than a lot of NFL guys. And then they asked me to punt. Didn't go well, but I didn't really care. I'm like, I'm going to be a kicker anyways. And it worked out, man. It really did work out.
Drafted 7th round,
yes,
222 over to the Colts. I mean, that's a long time to wait. Was it brutal?
Yeah, Jay.
That would suck.
I thought I was going to go back. I thought I was going back to West Virginia, pal. I thought I was like, all right, what's plan B other than just a pill here? I'm going to have to figure this whole thing out. I don't know what the hell I did, but the Cowboys told me they were going to draft me in the fourth and fifth round. They're going to draft a kicker.
Yeah.
And they told me I was their kicker. Yep. Okay, you're our kicker. You're our kicker. We're going to draft a kicker in fourth or fifth round.
You're our guy.
Like, yes, the whole thing.
Yeah.
So the first night, that was back whenever like round one was on one night. Then Saturday it was like 2 and 3, I think, and 4 maybe, and then 5, 6, 7 was on Sunday.
Yeah.
So first night knew nothing was going to happen, obviously. So we just celebrated me being a Cowboy. You know, like, hey, I'm going to be a Dallas Cowboy. Let's have
Love Dallas.
Woo. Hey, I'm from Pittsburgh. Everybody in Pittsburgh hates the Dallas Cowboys, but Dallas Cowboys are about to pay me, so who cares? We're going to be a Cowboy. So then we did another round on Saturday. We're having a good time. I was going to stay sober until the call came and kind of figure it all out. Then on the golf course, Dallas Cowboys made a selection of David Bueller of USC. He was the kicker that went to the combine, and he benched 225 like 20 times. He ran like a 4.6. He did all these, which, by the way, I think I would have performed very well at the combine if I would have went there as well at the time because of how in shape I was. So he ends up getting drafted to the Cowboys. No other team really told me they were going to get drafted. So that celebration and drinking party went from like real pumped to real bummed real quick. We thought we were fucked. Yeah. And then 222, I finally get a call from Bill Polian, and it was a trade with the Eagles. So Philadelphia was on the clock on TV. Get a phone call from a 317 number. So assumed it was maybe undrafted free agent conversation. I go back to my mom and dad's room, which is down the hallway. I'm having a convo. Bill Polian's like, hey, we just traded with the Eagles to draft you. I'm like, oh my God, yes. Yeah. This is awesome news. They say to punt. I'm like, okay, I'm punting. Here we go. This is awesome. And then my family that was drunk and miserable in the living room, it shows up on the screen. You know, Indianapolis Colts have traded with Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah. They draft kicker Pat McAfee out of West Virginia. They go fucking bananas. So it ended up being a very positive day, positive weekend, but it was getting a little sketchy there for a bit that nothing was going to happen. Went and partied that night we got drafted. Yep. Next morning, my dad literally wakes me up and says, like, hey, we got to go learn how to punt now, dude. Like, let's get to work. You know? So it was a wild weekend.
Who was the punter? Who was their punter at the time?
So Hunter Smith was their punter for like 10 years.
I remember that.
The year before, Vinatieri was the kicker. So as soon as I get drafted to Indianapolis, Mel Kiper on ESPN, I hear this happening while I'm on the phone. It's like, this guy's going to carry the bags of Adam Vinatieri and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, I'm not even going to draft that position, you fuck. But also, you're right. Like, I would have to do that to Adam Vinatieri. I'm very confused as well. Hunter Smith, though, he in the Colts played the San Diego Chargers the year before, and Cyphers had like 7 punts inside the 5 in the playoff game, and they actually won because of it, basically. Yeah. Peyton was starting every drive in his own end zone. Chargers get a win. For whatever reason, they decided they're going to move on from Hunter Smith. Hunter Smith was almost like the sacrificial lamb. Like, hey, you know, Cyphers did this, you lose. So they get rid of Hunter. Hunter was beloved by the city, by the team. I think he had pretty good stats. So I was getting drafted at a position I didn't really know, replacing a guy that was beloved over here. So I just kind of kept my mouth shut and tried to figure out how to punt and hopefully make the team. And
yeah, I mean, you know, back then, I mean, still now, like if you draft a kicker or punter, like they're on the team. They're doing you're doing it. You're figuring it out, or the GM's gonna get ripped his ass. They're gonna destroy him.
And that was Bill Polian. So I don't at that point, Bill Polian was pretty calloused. I don't think he gave a single damn. No, but my first rookie camp, that week after the draft, you know, the rookie camp that happens. Yeah. I can remember the Indianapolis Colts announcer giving an interview while punt drill's happening, going, "Oh my God, what was that?" I punted the ball like 7 yards right. Like there was a lot of questions in the first couple months on whether or not Bill Polian was this Hall of Fame scouter and evaluator. Tom Telesco, now GM of the Chargers, was the one, I guess, that got Bill to get interested in my athleticism. And he was really the driving force behind the scenes to get me there. So eternally thankful for him. And obviously there was many moments where I didn't think I was going to be able to figure it out. And I just thought, what the fuck am I doing? This is not what I'm supposed to be doing. I'd rather be a free agent at this point.
You know, I don't think there's not really on an NFL team, there's not really like a kicking coach. I mean, there's a special teams coach, but do they know anything about kicking? They don't, right?
So there's some of them, like
I had
Tom
McMahon at the
end. Yeah, Tom McMahon at the end of my career, he is now with the Raiders. He was the best coach I ever had, like for me personally. He talked shit to me. He knew that like he knew how to get me going, right? Like wasn't scared to engage with me. I think like that is a big deal whenever you find that person. But he would just watch me, and then he would tell me what happened whenever things were good and when things were bad. Like, hey, when it goes good, it seems like you're doing this as opposed to this, which I appreciated, you know, because he wasn't acting like he knew the fundamentals, but he was like, hey, it seems to go this way or this way. So that is something that you kind of get thrown in there. They're hiring kicking gurus now. Like the Bears hired a kicking guru after the whole situation where they were trying to find a replacement. But does it work? Like a guy can get into a heater and a guy can get into a cold streak all by himself, you know? So I don't really know how good things will work out if there was a guy that knew everything at all times anyways, you know?
What did you just become an athlete and just figure it out on your own? How to punt?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, hey, I'm just gonna keep doing this until I figure it out.
Hey, this is going to make me a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is my current opportunity right now. To your point, I was drafted. They're going to keep me around for at least a year.
Yep.
Peyton Manning's the quarterback. This offense is pretty good. Probably not going to have to punt that much.
Yeah,
All
not
right?
gonna
So
punt that much. We'll be okay.
Let's figure it out here.
Yeah.
Let's be a good source of energy in the locker room.
Yep.
You know, let's keep people. Let's be a good teammate in here.
Yep.
Much different role than anything I've ever done. Like I had zero abilities to affect the game, really. So that is vastly different than any other sport that I've ever played in my entire life.
Yep.
So I kind of bought into that role as a person in the locker room. And then I just went to work, you know, and just tried to learn how to punt. I used to think to myself, if that guy can figure it out, I can fucking figure it out.
Exactly.
Like it's just like golf, Jay. It's just like golf. Like I think inevitably an athlete will be able to find its swing, and then now can you repeat it? Can you repeat it? That's the only thing.
Yeah, like I'm playing in the American Cornhole League, like a pro-am in Chicago in July 1st. I think it's on ESPN or ESPN2, I forget. But I've been watching highlights, and I'm like, you know what? If these guys can figure it out, like it's 27 feet, you throw a bag onto a board or in the hole. Like I got to be able to figure this thing out.
Hey, it's muscle memory. That is actual muscle memory, too. So we had that in the locker room. We had that in the locker room with the Colts. My first introduction to cornhole was in the Colts locker room. First one. And obviously, you know how this goes. I have no meetings all day, but I got to be there.
Yep.
So it became like 3 hours a day while everybody else is doing things. I was training cornhole. It's muscle memory. You can get locked in there. You can really – I bet you would be a – filthy cornhole player if you put the time in.
I've been practicing. I mean, not enough. I mean, I've got a couple weeks. Like this next weekend and next week, I'm gonna really buckle down. But I've already picked up some tips, got some things going. You know, I'm 2 in the hole kind of right now. But I think if I just get 4 on the board, like I've got a chance here. Got a chance.
Learn strategy. You got to block that hole.
Got to block. Oh, yeah.
Like,
put one right out the front. Yeah. Get in their head. Talk some shit. Yes. All the things.
Yes.
I mean, I can't wait.
Yeah, there's real strategy in that game. Hey, I've won. I mean, I don't want to talk. Obviously, you don't bet actual money in NFL locker rooms. It's always like M&Ms and stuff like that.
Pieces of gum.
But I've been a part of. Yeah, pieces of gum, of course. I've been a part of some high-stakes cornhole games, man. It is awesome when you get – because you have to make a play.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like at some point you have to make a play. Yeah. So you get an actual feeling of like beer pong last cup. Like you get an actual feeling of like, hey, I got to make a play here. It's a great sport. I'm happy you're involved with that. You're going to be fucking great, Jay.
I appreciate it. I'm going to try. Uncut with Jay Cutler is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Most of you listening right now are probably multitasking. Yep, while you're listening to me talk, you're probably also driving, cleaning, exercising, or maybe even grocery shopping. But if you're not in some kind of moving vehicle, there's something else you can be doing right now. Getting an auto quote from Progressive Insurance. It's easy, and you can save money by doing it right from your phone. Drivers who save by switching to Progressive save over $700 on average. And auto customers qualify for an average of 7 discounts. Discounts for having multiple vehicles on your policy, being a homeowner, and more. So just like your favorite podcast, Progressive will be with you 24/7, 365 days a year, so you're protected no matter what. Multitask right now. Quote your car insurance at Progressive.com to join the over 27 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Companies and Affiliates. National annual average insurance savings by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2020 and May 2021. Potential savings will vary. Discounts not available in all states and situations. Did you have to hold for Adam?
Yeah. So obviously I'd never done that in college.
I think I had to hold for Jason Elam, game winner. The most pressure I've ever, like, I look up at him. He's like, don't mess it up. He goes, I'm making it unless you mess it up. And I'm like, shit, here we go.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt too. Elam's one of those guys in that conversation too for how long and how great he was.
Oh, he was incredible.
Unbelievable. I've never met him as a human. I'm a big fan of his work, though. He used to bomb the fucking ball. He wasn't that big either, right?
No.
He was kind of a littler guy.
Little guy. And he had awesome dude. Nicest guy in the world in the locker room. Worked his tail off. But he had like a tackle box, like a fishing tackle box. And it was full of different creams. No idea what.
Nice.
No idea what they were. I mean, I'm sure it was just moisturizing or whatever, or anti-inflammatory stuff. But like he would be rubbing down his legs. I mean, all the time out of this tackle box full of whatever it was.
The Elam potions in there, made him play a long, long time. Vinatieri, same thing, right? Vinny, if he's going to miss a kick, I assume it's not going to be the Hall of Famer Adam Vinatieri. It's going to be the rookie that's never held before, right? And nobody gives a fuck about what my thoughts are and whether or not I've done it. The night before my first game, I was scared. I didn't really know how to punt. Yeah. Okay, I'll figure that out. Hopefully, I'll just be an athlete. But if I ruin Adam Vinatieri's career here, I'm on the first ship out of here. Me and Vinny, though, he would throw me 1,000 balls in training camp. 1,000. Really? Like every night. He came to my dorm room. We would just sit there. That's how we met each other. He would just be throwing me the ball. I'd be catching it, finding the laces, putting it down. Laces, by the way, on the long snapper in the NFL. People don't know that. I'm sure you experienced that with Manley up there in Chicago.
Incredible.
Fucking icon, that guy. But I would catch it, put it down, and we would just chat about life almost. Mm-hmm. So that was like our bonding experience during training camp. We spent a lot of hours together. I'd get like calluses on my hand from the laces hitting them. But I had to hold. He sent me down to Ken Walter in North Carolina, who was his holder in New England, for like a 1-day like quick boot camp on holding. I flew down there. He taught me. I stayed at his house. I ate at Firehouse Subs for the first time. It was a great trip. Guy was a great guy. Beautiful house. Holy shit. This guy's living good. But I had to learn. That was like a full crash course, because I was a kicker in college. Yeah. So I know how important a holder is, and I had great holders in college. Yeah. And I very much understood that I could fuck that up, though. You can miss a kick for kickers. You can miss a kick for them.
Oh yeah.
Like that.
Oh yeah. I mean, when I held for Jason, it was a game winner, or the fourth quarter. It was something close, but I mean, it's kind of windy out. I think maybe we had a little snow, and I'm like, this is on me. Like, he's gonna make the kick unless I screw this thing up. And it was like,
nothing else matters. Nothing else matters in the entire game either. If you fuck that up, nothing else matters in the entire game.
And everyone's like, Jason's not missing it. So I mean, I think I was playing quarterback then too. So I was like, playing quarterback's easy compared to this. Like, this is high stress. I'm out there shaking. I'm like, shit, just get it down. Boom. But Manley was incredible, because I was a backup holder. I don't know if I held it all, but I was backup. But I would go over there, just put a few down, and he would be like, "Oh man, sorry, that was a quarter turn too much off of him," because he wanted to get it so that you laces were already out, you just put it down, and he'd be like, quarter turn, sorry, I'll get it next time. Next one, boom. But I mean, he knew how many rotations that ball was going to go to get you there, and he'd be like, don't catch out here, just catch it right here, boom, straight down. He goes, because if you come out and get it, he goes, you're gonna mess up my rotation. Just right here, boom, straight down. Like, oh,
yeah, that's real. Hey, and that's how they're judged, by the way. That's how long snappers are judged in the NFL. They're making like $750 million. Yeah. And everybody's like, they got no pressure or whatever. It's like, no, they have to snap the exact same ball every single time on field goals, or they'll find somebody else that will. Like, I think Ace Ventura, obviously, pet detective, Dan Marino is blamed for the laces out or whatever. But now that there's a descriptive actual long snapper, it's like, hey, their job is to get the laces. The holder's job is to get the spot in the lean. Yep. And then the kicker's job to make the kick. But that is an old adage that nobody knows. But yeah, Manley, those guys that are artists with it too. Oh, they paint the thing. It's awesome.
And back then they changed the rules, but back then, they would get obliterated after they snapped it. I mean, it was just like wham, just smoking these dudes.
Back of the neck, these guys would just get killed. And then they changed the rules. Everybody's like, these long snappers are soft. It's like they were almost getting paralyzed. Every snap.
It was basically the worst gig out there. Like, hey, you've got to snap the ball perfect, and then guess what? You're going to get pile drived every play.
How about whenever they would have one D tackle line up right over top, and then they would have two linebackers, one on each ass cheek of the D tackle, and they would be pushing the D tackle right into the long snapper's neck. And they changed the rule. Like, these long snappers have it so easy. I'm like, they didn't just a minute ago. It was a nightmare before.
It sucked. So, I mean, 2-time Pro Bowl, first team All-Pro in 14, retired in 17.
Okay.
Some knees. Were your knees just beat up?
I could have came back. I could have kept going.
Yeah.
Everything about it. Go ahead.
I mean, it seemed like you had so much other stuff going on. You were excited about it.
Yeah.
And is kind of ready to move on a little bit.
Yeah, I think the universe, was telling me.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of things. The GM and I did not get along at all.
Gotcha.
Okay, so the GM and I did not get along at all. He hated me. He did not like me at all. And on the flip side, I fucking hated him too. I didn't enjoy him, and at that point, I was pretty comfortable in the locker room too. So I wasn't just like your standard punter that was like hated by everybody.
Yeah.
There was a pretty good grasp. I had a pretty good grasp on everything. So the world, the way it was like kind of telling me it was done, I didn't get along. I didn't enjoy going into work for said guy anymore.
Sure.
I didn't enjoy like doing this for a living, having this be my entire brain thought is like, if I make this decision, is this going to make me a worse ball punter or a better ball punter? That was like in the back of my mind at all times, because I think you have to, when you're in the NFL is owed that type of respect from you. Like there's not a lot of jobs, especially in my position, your position. So if you have one, like you shouldn't just fucking mistreat it. Right. So although I had already done a stand-up comedy tour while I was in the league, did a full podcast, shows, had a merch company, had a foundation, had a regular appearance on Bob and Tom. Like I was doing all those things. Yeah. Every other moment of my life was spent like being a better ball kicker. Yep. And as I was doing all that stuff, I was enjoying it. I was finding fulfillment in that type of stuff. And I thought to like, hey, if I was to take full time and focus on this, A, how much better would my life be? Yeah. B, how much more fun would life be, and how much more fulfilling would life be? Were the questions I had to ask myself, and I finally pulled the trigger. I'd been contemplating retiring like 2-3 years. Really? And then I finally just was like, and I say that I was, I wasn't like a soft ass bitch, because I think every year I was like, I'm retiring. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm gonna go focus on making the world a better place, hopefully a happier place. I'm gonna go do it. And then as soon as training camp come around, I'm like, I'm going back. Here we go. Let's go do this. Yeah. And I do it for another year. And I'm not the only person. I think a lot of people do that. They say they're done, and then they just keep playing and playing because ultimately we're all football dudes if you play football. Yeah. So I think I finally got to the point where staring down like another knee surgery. So that's another rehab. Then also old buddy still working there. Everything going on outside the building. It was like, now the guy did end up getting fired before I retired, like a week before. So like that did kind of throw quite a little curveball.
Who came in after him?
Chris Ballard.
Oh my gosh, you would have loved Chris.
That's what Chris told me the night I went in to tell Jim Irsay I was retiring. Chris said, hey, I wish I could have got a chance to chat with you. I wish I think you would love the building we got. We're going to appreciate everybody and their personalities and everything they bring to the table. And I'm like, Chris, I've already flipped the switch. Like, I've already made the decision that I'm going to go and I have to go. If this all fails, it would be an honor to come back. It'd be an honor to come back. And
he was in.
It felt like it was the right decision, Jay. It just felt like the right decision.
I got you. He was in Chicago whenever I was there, and then he went to KC with Andy and that group. Awesome dude. Yeah. Great GM. I mean, you guys got a good one.
Great. He's been nothing but good to me since retiring too. I've never worked or played for the guy, and he will text me. If I text him and ask him something, he'll give me an answer quick. He treats me as if I'm an actual member of the team, and I'm like very, very thankful for that. He's a cool dude.
He's a great dude. I took my boys up to when they played the Jets, and he put me and his boys in his suite with his family. Chris is he's salt of the earth.
Did you fly private up there with your kids to that game? Yeah.
No, I made those little bastards drive. I was like, we're driving, boys. We're not flying. Right. We're driving. This is old school. We're road tripping it.
Yeah. Welcome to the real world, kids.
Yeah. I mean, we used to drive everywhere. I remember we had one of those station wagons with the wood on the side. You sat in the back. You faced each other in the back as you're going down the road. Yeah. We drove to Florida in that thing. I was like, we're driving, guys. Figure it out.
Think about the amount of times people got punched you drove by for the wood grain.
Oh, so many. I mean? So
many people just were getting blasted because your family would roll by with that.
I kind of want to bring it back. I don't want to find one and bring it back and let's get this train going again. I think the Jeep, one of those Jeeps came out with wood grain on it.
You smoke cigs in real life or no?
No, cigars.
No, but I just thought of smoking Jay or whatever with a fucking wood grain. Yeah. I mean, that is a hysterical thought. Did you hate that people were doing that to you or no?
Wagoneer, yeah. It happened in Chicago, and they started doing shirts and merch and stuff, and we sent them a cease and desist, and they didn't stop. And I was like, you know what? Who cares? It is what it is. Like, just fire away.
We will take legal action against you. We'll see. All right, we will find out. And then they called your boss.
Yeah, they're like, I bet he won't. Here we go.
And they were right.
They won. I was like, I don't have the time or energy. Like, you guys keep going.
Yeah, loved it, though. I loved it. I remember loving it.
Yeah, I mean, it's still good. I kind of want to like have like a pack of smokes in a shirt pocket during this cornhole league, but I'm not sure ESPN's going to support that. We'll see.
Who cares? Do you work for ESPN?
I do not.
Hey,
that's a good point.
I'll tell you what. You have a cigarette hanging out of your mouth.
Or what about one like right behind my ear?
Oh my God! And you're also going to be good. Imagine if you're an assassin too, with the Marlboro hanging out of the hat. Let's go, Jake. Just buy into that thing completely. The internet will be all the way back.
After the win, just light it up. Like, good game, boys.
Yeah, that was fun, wasn't it? That was a lot of fun. Hey, good for you guys for what you just pulled off. I'll see you soon.
Did you?
Awesome.
So afterwards, you went to Barstool. Did you like it there?
I did. It was, for me, none of the networks liked me. Right? They didn't. As I was about to retire,
because you were doing stuff with college football. You were all over the place.
Well, so what I talked about whenever I was playing, like I sold 10,000 tickets for a stand-up comedy tour in like 30 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I went out there in like 94 minutes of stand-up. I did the first time I ever went up on stage.
That is so long.
Thank you. Yeah,
Goodness.
I agree.
First time, 94 minutes.
Yeah. We filmed it. It was a special. I paid for so I didn't have a stand-up set ready.
Yeah.
I went and did. This is how it all happened. All right. So I'm doing Bob and Tom. Bob and Tom is a nationally syndicated radio show in the morning. They're here in Indianapolis. Legends in the game, like 35 plus years. Yeah. They have all these comedians that have come through. Every comedian that you've ever heard of has come through Bob and Tom at some point because they're a comedy morning show. Mm-hmm. So I was in there with them one morning, and a very rich comedian came in there. Very rich comedian came in there. Mm-hmm. Somebody that makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in here. This dude has all his punchlines written out in front of him. And then he has questions that he handed to Tom to ask him. And then he would ask him the question. He would say the punchline. Then he would scribble it out. Okay. Then we go to commercial break. And I try to engage and have a conversation with this person. And it was like the most boring person of all time. So after that show ends, I tell Bob, one half of the coast, Bob Kavoyan, who was my neighbor at the time and good friend, I was like, this guy ain't fucking funny. Like, how is this motherfucker making millions of dollars being funny? He's like,
and somebody probably wrote it for him.
Bingo. I got I'm like, this guy's taking somebody else's brain. Uh-huh. He's fooling everybody. This guy's a catfish. This guy's a fucking catfish or whatever. And Bob Kavoyan told me, he said, well, if you think it's so easy to get up there on stage and tell your jokes or somebody else's, why don't you do it? So I literally rented out a theater here that had like 1,500 seats in it, sold tickets, sold out in 4 seconds, I think. Mm-hmm. Put another night on. Everybody on Twitter that followed me wanted to see the car crash, I think. So then at that point, I had to figure out what I was going to say. Yeah. I hired a production company from town here, shot the entire thing, went for 94 minutes. We sold the stand-up special to people on my Twitter, made a hilarious amount of money. It was nowhere near as good as it should be to continue stand-up comedy, though.
Sure.
You know, like after watching the greats like Segura or Burr or Chappelle, Kevin Hart, even like the guys that are at the top of the mountain in this whole thing. I decided I'm never getting back onto a stage until I'm much better. It's kind of embarrassing to watch what they do versus what you can do. And I think other comedians should maybe think about that as well. There's a lot of guys out there and girls out there that are not funny, that are abusing, I think, stand up, but that's neither here nor there. Just because you do it doesn't mean you're good at it too. Just like me with a show. But so I was doing like stand up. I had my own show. I was doing all these things. I had like 750,000 Twitter followers at this point, basically just in the middle of America, nowhere else. Yep. So when I was going to retire, I assumed that one of the networks would like take a shot because of the terrible people they've put on TV in the past.
I agree.
And I had a quick no thank you from every network. So at that point, I kind of had to figure out what I was going to do. I started building my own app. I was just going to build my own app, charge like $1 a month to my Twitter followers, put out like a daily podcast and do shows and merch and everything. And Dave and Big Cat heard about that and they reached out to me. That was after the churn and purchase. So Erica was there. I talked to them, and it was always the plan that because I didn't want to move to New York. I wanted to stay in Indianapolis. So I kind of ran my own operation out here, got to learn from them who have been absolute OGs and stallions of internet business. And then inevitably I ended up parting and going my own direction. But I was very lucky to go there and learn from them. Now, we don't have. Everybody just assumes that everybody at Barstool has similar styles. Like, I think the way I go about covering sports vastly different than them, but like getting to learn about how the day-to-day goes and what you should do on the internet was invaluable lessons. I was very lucky for that time, Jay.
That's awesome. And then did you go right from there to your show?
Yeah.
How did that come about? Were you kind of building that as you were going through Barstool? Like, hey, I eventually want to do this by myself and kind of.
I think going into our relationship, me, Eric, and Dave, we kind of knew that inevitably I was probably going to break off and do my own thing. Like that was kind of the plan going in, I think. It was talked about. And me being like 400 miles away, it didn't necessarily make it as easy with some of the business stuff happening in the back end and decisions that are being made and ideas and conversations. So if I had to do it again and I wanted it to go like fantastically, forever, I think I would have had to move to New York. But I think it would have went. If I would have moved to New York, I think it still would have done well. But just kind of started running my own operation. Have 12 guys.
I tell you what, it would have been interesting if you would have moved to New York and how you fit in with them, because like your personality and just how good you are at this stuff, like you would have went to the top real fast, and it would have been interesting to see how Dave and Big Cat and some of the guys that have been there that are kind of at their top, how they dealt with this new dude coming in there and taking a lot of shine. I would have been fun to watch.
So the talent, I never had an issue with anybody that was like, I don't want to say talent, but talent over there. I feel like I have nothing but respect for them. I try to learn from people.
Yeah.
The business folks didn't think I was worth a fuck though,
Really?
And that was, yeah. Huh. There were some deals that just, were supposed to happen for our particular brand. And then like 2 days beforehand, actually that's going somewhere else. That happened on like multiple occasions. So I don't think the business people thought we were earners,
Gotcha.
And that's like a part of being 400 miles away. They didn't know, not just people really knew who I was, how I was, what we was. But I think the talent always had massive respect, I think, for each other. I hope so, at least.
Good. So started your own gig. 12 people working. Is that what you started with?
We started with like 10.
How'd you find your guys? Have you known them for a while, or?
So a couple of my guys I went to high school with.
Okay.
So I've known them for a long time. One of my dudes is Tom McMahon's son, the special teams coordinator.
Okay.
And if he wasn't working here, by the way, he had no fucking shot doing anything else. I have no idea what this guy would do. Hard worker, but he's a little flighty sometimes. And then the other guys were interns that we got whenever we started at Barstool. They applied. We announced an internship to come work at Barstool Heartland. Got some guys that came in, and they've become like my best friends. I'm very lucky to have the crew I have around me. And I know you're starting and building your company. The people that I have around me are so talented, so cool, and everybody has the same mission. That's a very important thing. Everybody has the same mindset. Like, hey, we're here to make people's lives better, not worse. We're not trying to do drama. And ultimately, we're trying to have success as well. So fucking let's work.
Yeah.
And that's huge, Jay. That's not easy to find. I'm very, very lucky for these guys.
Oh, it's all about the people around you. I mean, you know that just in sports and everything and growing up. Like, if you're not surrounded by people that are like-minded, have the same mission, same drive, willing to do, the extra stuff, willing to stay in their role, it's a crapshoot if you don't have that.
Hey, willing to buy, like you just saying, willing to stay in the role, like buying into your role.
Oh yeah, know your role. Do your job.
Yes, I learned that as a punter, right? I come from being a soccer player, where in the soccer world I was like the guy. Hey, I'm the guy. Then I go into West Virginia, I'm the kicker and the punter. It's like, hey, you are nothing here. It's like, all right, well, at least I can bring some vibes at least. Like that ability to say, probably, like we have a guy here named Zito. He's a big time Bears fan, loves you. He is actually over here right now.
I remember him.
He could do literally everything. Zito could literally do everything. And for us, he does do everything. Other companies might have him focus in on one thing that maybe he's best at, but he's just willing to do whatever. Foxy, my guys, Ty, Connor, every one of my guys is just ready to go and do whatever at any point, but also self-aware enough to be like, I should not be the one that's doing it. Like,
Yes.
you know, like we're very, very fucking, I wish we could bottle this forever almost, you know?
Oh yeah. I mean, self-awareness and awareness in general is so overlooked. And that's what a lot of it is. Like you've got to have some awareness here.
Yeah. Hey, look what we're doing. Look where we're headed.
Yep.
Look what you like. And that's not just in this business. That's in life too. Self-awareness is at a very low point right now in our society.
Bottom of the barrel right now.
It's a shame. Need to bring it back, Jay.
I don't know how. We'll figure it out.
Keep driving those fucking kids, you know, all the way up to Bears games.
Totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. All right. Your show's 12 to 3, Monday through Friday?
Yeah.
That's a grind. How are you coming up with content every day?
Dude, I don't know. Like, we're about to go kind of piece it together. We have no A block, B block, C block, D block. We have no booker.
Yeah.
So right now we have nobody scheduled for the show today. So I'll have to send some texts and DMs out. Hopefully people will come. Yep. I'll go get rather high off a CBD out there and we'll just start bullshitting. And then we get in these microphones, get behind these microphones, and somehow an hour and a half has already passed and we haven't covered a thing.
Yes.
And then it's like every day, like in these off seasons, I wake up with some dread.
Oh yeah.
You know, because we're very fortunate.
There's nothing on right now. There's nothing to talk about. I mean, hockey.
Nothing. There's nothing. There's nothing. Yeah. But there's people that spend their afternoons with us who expect like in mornings on the West Coast. Like there's people that are like, hey, here we go. This crew has become the crew that was with us for every single day through the COVID pandemic. You know, like this crew was with us. Yeah. And I'm a big vibes guy, energy guy. So people are expecting. But there's some days I wake up where I'm taking my morning shower and I'm like, man, what the fuck are we going to talk about today for 3 hours? You know,
I get it.
There's nothing in the sports world, Jay. Nothing.
Oh, I know. Right nothing. Brutal. Well, I mean,
other than Deshaun Watson has settled 20 of 24 cases. It's like, that's terrible to talk about. Like, there's really, these times.
Has he settled that many cases?
Yeah, 20 out of 24. And I guess there's 2 more looming cases that could make it 26. Ian Rappaport came on yesterday and basically said they're probably all going to get settled. They're all just kind of currently happening. And
well, hell, I mean, the Browns gave him 200 whatever million. So I mean, he's got some cash to spend. How did that happen? How did that happen? He didn't even play last year, and he had 24 cases against him.
Look, you're starting to dive into the daily sports talk right there.
I know. Topical.
What's going on here? What's going on? That's daily sports right there, baby. But none of us understand that. That's the biggest contract in the history.
And it blows my mind.
Me too.
Well, you guys can talk about cornhole today. Give me some cornhole knowledge. You guys can talk. Give me some tips. Figure that one out for me.
I'm a player.
Well, now I'm nervous because I can't disappoint you. I got to go up there and do my thing.
You're an athlete, though. Like you could get in there if you go to work for a couple hours a day, like 2-3 days. You go.
Do you step? Do you step?
No, I'm free throw.
Yeah.
So I have my right foot. I have my right foot forward.
Yep.
And there's a little bop, I think, a little spring.
Yep.
But then obviously twist middle. So I don't know how you grab the bag.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to go middle and ring finger towards the hole because I'm twisting it side.
And then frisbee-ish. Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. And you should get really good at that quickly, I think.
I mean, some people go left, some people go right. I've dabbled back and forth. Do you think it makes a difference, or just be stable?
What do you mean?
You know, you're going same arm, same leg. Yeah. You know, which isn't naturally how you throw. Naturally, you're left, your opposite leg up. You know what I mean? Does it make sense?
But I think free throw, you're lining up off your shooting foot, right?
Yeah, I get it.
So that is like free throw, you're lining up your right foot if you're a righty with the hoop, I think, right? And then you're just trying to stay straight.
See, that makes more sense. That makes more sense comparing it to a free throw than throwing, because you want to do the same stroke every time, and that makes sense. Boom, boom, boom.
You want to be a robot,
yes.
Jay. That's you want that thing to become just robotic almost, and then start having your other shots. They call it airmail. We call it Bird or Jordan, obviously for obvious reasons.
Yep.
But then you can start working that thing. Once you start learning how to work the sticky side and the slide side, though, you can really start fucking working these things, Jay.
All right, I'm gonna go practice. All right, your show's on.
Don't suck, Jay. Don't suck. You're representing all of us out
I'm
there.
not
Come
gonna.
on.
There's no way I'm gonna suck. I will figure this out. Be an athlete. Figure it out. I got this.
Hey, be an athlete. I became a punter in the NFL.
Anything's possible.
Anything's possible, man. Just figure it out,
All right, Pat McAfee Show, every day, 12 to 3. I know you got to go get ready for this one. Everyone watch it. I've watched it. It's entertaining as hell. You're doing an awesome job. Obviously, FanDuel backed up the truck for you. Congratulations on that. You worked your ass off to get there, so I'm happy for you. That's awesome.
Well, thank you, Jay. FanDuel isn't our only partner. Obviously, there's many others, and we're very thankful for everybody, although FanDuel's truck was the biggest. They're very nice. They're very nice people. And once the alleged report of the contract might be accurate, might be low, might be more, who knows? But, Jay, I am pumped. You have entered into this world.
Yeah.
I've obviously always been a big fan from afar, and thank you for the invite. I appreciate the hell out of you. Good luck with everything over there.
Thank you very much. It's been fun. Go get ready for your show. Everyone, tune in to see it. It's a lot of fun. Thanks, bud.
Don't watch. But if you fucking stink at cornhole, Jay, I am going to be so mad. So mad.
Don't worry. I won't. Not a chance in hell. I can't. How?
Especially with that SIG in the hat.
I got it. All right, bud. Go get ready for your show.
Hey, I appreciate you, dude. Good luck with everything.
Thanks, man.